Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
Asking herself, could my children be hiding something from me that I do not know? Not as much as I think I am a good parent. But then again, she knew that she had gaps because she said that she and her husband are never comfortable talking about those hard subjects like, sex and relationships. All they tell the children are be good children and make sure you don't do anything bad. And then the children will say, yes, mommy, yes, daddy. And they assume that they are able to decode and understand what they mean by the children not doing anything bad. So she got curious. And then she started, doing her own investigations and chanced upon a diary of her 16-year-old daughter now, who had been in a relationship with one of her teachers in school for the past 2 years. So it means they started the relationship when she was 14 and they had been at it until she is 16. She said they had gotten intimate in a lot of ways, and this is according to, the documentation in the diary. They had gotten intimate in a lot of ways. The only thing is that they had not had sex. They were waiting to have sex when she, the girl, turns 18. And it was at that point she realized that she had failed her daughter. She has a 12-year-old or 14-year-old who is aware of what her sister is doing, but they're keeping it a secret. Mommy and daddy doesn't have to know. Just so when it is your turn, I keep it for you as well. She had a conversation with her husband, and because they are very uncomfortable with the subject, husband says, look, looks like we need a counselor, so let's get a counselor to talk to them how to approach the subject. It's a very difficult one. And if you have been following us or if you're just joining us, you can go on our Facebook pages. We have quotes from the conversations we have had in previous weeks, so you are able to follow. But we have been having conversations about this, teachers, and how they should know that when we leave our children in their care, they're supposed to be parents to them as well. And then we parents as well, not, being overly busy, chasing money, work, and all other things, and then neglect the children, because some of these things could happen. And last week we had a very interesting one. I was asking them, so what if they fail to listen? You have done everything there is for you to do as a parent. Don't do this. I am there. I provide. I do. And then they still make mistakes. But we established here on the show again that you do not throw your child away because they made a mistake. Whichever way, you will have to walk through the mistake with them so that they turn out better. So you don't give up on your child no matter what. But today, if you checked my Facebook page yesterday, Edo Night Day on Facebook, I am gradually learning, and don't worry, start doing Twitter and Instagram very soon. But I am quite comfortable on Facebook. I said that today I came on the show with a pen and I have my paper here already. I have come to take notes and to pick up lessons because we are going into the third leg of the conversation, and I'm asking, so at what age is it okay to start allowing your children to start having relationships with the opposite sex? At what age? How do you even agree to it? How do you begin the conversation? What are the considerations? What do you tell them? I don't know. And my guests, they have, teenagers who are older than mine. And so they are able to help you and I who are now thinking about, because see, let me speak a Jew, my Jew. Ajidoge, Osmo, so we had better learn it and then be able to guide them through it. So this is a conversation I actually set up for myself. Join me so that we are able to pick the lessons together. Hello, good morning.
Morning. Good morning, madam.
How are we doing?
We're doing well.
Why are you people laughing at me, la?
We are happy that you're gradually getting there.
Oh, Charlie. Hi, Safam. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Hello, team. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, so Zoom at home, crying our phone who says, sister.
Oh, I have a program after this. So I'm going
but
somewhere.
you look very good. and everybody here this morning. You're looking bright, Nicolina.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, this one should have been an off-air conversation. Are you back in Accra?
No, but I come to do stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
It's good to
every
have
now and
you.
then, yeah.
It's good to have you. And then this morning we're joined by Mr. Kweku Ejeifobi. Is that the name?
That's my name.
Great. He's a lecturer in English language and literature at the Valley View University, adjunct lecturer, University of Ghana, father of 4 poet authors.
No, I'm a father of
Of
four.
4, you are a
I'm
poet and you are an author. Oh, I was going to say, hey. And then you have been teaching for 32 years.
Wow.
Both in Ghana and abroad.
Yeah.
Hey, Ned.
Yeah.
All right,
Diversity
you're
of
welcome.
opinion.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, Pakojo couldn't join us today, but Kweku is here this morning. And then I have Ariel, the wellness coach.
Thank you.
Ariel, one of these days we're going to have a whole wellness conversation.
I'm ever ready.
I will tell people your age and then how you're able to continue to look like this, like Miss Kwekwe, you know.
Yeah,
And then we will have the conversation on wellness, you know, it's important. Nicolina.
Yes.
Nicolina is a mother. She's into all kinds of things, and she's a big woman when it comes to insurance as well.
Please, I beg you.
And
My
Safam on
boss is
Zoom.
listening.
Safam is a parent and she loves teaching as well. And she's so passionate when it comes to these things, you know. Good to have you. Great. So let's get into the conversation. Ariel was wondering what my first question is going to be. And then she said she was reading. I'm wondering what
I have
for
been doing
such
some
conversations,
readings too.
what would you even read? You know, then maybe unless you read my mind, because the questions are on my mind.
I just said to myself, Adam Crowd, you know the best start here. And I just stopped. I was like, she's going to start from somewhere you never expected to start from.
I
So
know. I am actually going to start very simply to find out. So, at what age, really,
Yes,
do we begin to relax into that kind of thing? As in, okay, I have said, we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Hold on, don't do it, there's time for it, and all. But yes, the time for it will have to come somehow. And the time will
Has
have to, you know, start. We have to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
So where do we start from? How do you even realize that some way, somehow, even without them telling you, you realize that, okay, they could be doing A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And then you begin to now not tell them, no, don't go into it,
Yeah.
but start having the conversation like, oh, okay, it's okay, you're feeling this way. And at what age, and what do you see for you to begin that, Ariel?
oh, you started with me again.
Ladies first.
Okay.
flow.
It's
The men
an
before.
interesting conversation. And I mean, so as I said, I was reading. I like reading and researching. So it's something I do almost every week. I mean, I research a lot because I like to have diverse understanding of subjects.
Great.
And one thing that came up for me when I was reading about this is there's no right age to start talking about your children, about sex, or having the conversation. And what struck me in what I was reading was the fact that even their reproductive organs, we give them some slangs, and that affects children's confidence about their reproductive organ and prevent them from talking to us about even when somebody has touched those parts or done something to them. So there's no wrong or right age. Even from toddler age, you can start talking to them about the anatomy of their body and tell them the right name of their reproductive organs instead of using the slangs.
Okay.
So you can start as early as toddler by letting them know what their reproductive organs are. That this is called this is your hand, this is, so they know. Now, as they age, definitely they will start growing, and the world is so open now. As a parent, you need to look out for changes in your children. But conversation about sex should be ongoing. It shouldn't be placed or wait till they are in their teen ages before you start. I for one, started asking my kid, when they in a particular conversation, I'm like, is he your boyfriend? It's like, mommy, stop. You know? So it was an ongoing conversation for me when they were even in primary school. I didn't get the chance to do the talking about the body parts and tell them about puberty and all that. So, but the subject of relationship, the boy girl thing, it's always been active. And this is because I realize the TV shows they watch are always showing relationship between a man and a woman.
And they're excited about those ones.
And they are watching. And as a parent, you should know how you're bringing up your children. I brought up my children very open, very outgoing. So I know they were seeing a lot of things that if they were not brought up the way I was bringing them up, they wouldn't. Now, I didn't put what the family child lock code on DSTV. So I knew I'd made a mistake there. They might have watched movies that they shouldn't have watched. So I didn't limit what they know. I got the awareness that they know more than I think they know. So the conversation started very early for me with my daughter. So before she was even in senior high, I do ask her, is he your boyfriend? Who is your friend? I make up that conversation. So when she got to senior high, there were things she was able to open up to tell me because it was an ongoing conversation. So as a parent, you need to know what you've exposed your child to, how you are bringing them up. It will be different for every home because parenting is a very personal thing. So if you know your children are not exposed to certain things, you can plan when you want to have it with them, but it shouldn't be something you wait till they are very old in their 18 years before, their teen years before. It should be an ongoing conversation because they are hearing it from their friends already. I mean, they are watching things already. The phone is there. The internet is there.
Okay.
They are seeing Kardashian.
I want us to get into it quickly. So we've gone through all the stage, but I am still very interested in what age do we begin to permit those? Yeah,
Okay.
you've had
To
all the
permit.
conversations. Yes, to permit that. Oh, they are able to start keeping a special friend,
Okay.
probably leading into something. At what age is it permissible?
I permit my daughter after senior high.
Okay.
Yes, that and I know when she's going out with someone. When she's going out with her girlfriends, I know. When she's going on a date, I know. And she sends me pictures, we keep interactive and all that. So after senior high, when she was in senior high, I've been having the conversation ongoing from junior high.
So how did she tell you that she was? I mean, they talk about
She was dating.
liking somebody.
Okay.
I hear that one.
How did she tell me she was liking someone?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I asked her who is this person that you are going out with.
'Cause you noticed
because
she was
I
close to the
noticed she was
person.
close to the person.
Okay.
I like knowing about her friends, so I know all her friends.
Great.
All of them, including even the boys. I know them all. And one time, I mean, one of the male friends who she was very close to became not too good an influence. I mean, I supported both of them to guide them in how they should direct their interest on what they were
see.
doing wrong. Yeah. So getting closer to your children is key. It's very, very important. No matter what it is, it helps. And it gives them confidence to come to you. So she said, I'm going out with this person. I said, why is he the one you're going out with?
Okay.
And she said, I like him. He's my friend. I said, oh,
And this
okay.
was like what, 17?
Yes, this was like 17, yes.
Okay.
This was like 17. And she said, yeah, he's my friend. I like him. I said, okay, be careful. You know the things you're not supposed to do now because you're still schooling. So I talked to them. You know you don't want to get pregnant now because you're still having to continue your education. For a boy, it's easy to continue. But for a woman, for a girl, you can easily fall out of school if you don't become careful. So these are things I've mentioned it to her. And when we started this conversation, I made a comment and I asked her a question. And she was like, as a Christian, we are not supposed to do this. But even if the world says you can do this, as a Christian, we are not supposed to. So I know her Christian values are standing up for her as well. Because we
And
have
those will guide
conversation and
her.
that will guide her. So it's more of you parents knowing your children, how you are bringing them up. If you are negligible parenting, then you know that then it's something they're doing, but they won't tell you. If you're permissible and you let them do everything, then they've also done it. If you're authoritarian, then they'll hide it. And if you're authoritative and they have friendship, conversations with you, you are likely to know, and they will delay because they know you're not suppressing them from doing it. The suppression and trying to take it away from them and their friends talking to them about it rather makes them feel they are delaying, they are getting late. But when the conversation is ongoing, they are not rushing.
Great. So far, what I have picked, I mean, from everything Ariel's been talking about, she stressed on the conversations we have had earlier, 2 weeks ago, about getting close to your children, making sure you have a relationship with them and all that. And then it progresses. Because you have that relationship with them, it's very easy to start opening up on these things. You talk about them, and the conversations, as she said, will have to be age appropriate. Okay, so there's a certain age that you start talking to them about the body parts, about this, and then it's progressing as they are growing. And sometimes our guide as parents will be the questions they also come to ask you
Yes,
because of
yes,
the relationship
questions, yes.
you have. So when they ask you those questions, then you're able to build on them. And then you still have to keep your eyes on them. She talked about age 17, that may be appropriate. After secondary school, she thinks it is permissible to allow the I'm going on a date, my friend. She also talked about the fact that the values you instill in them are very important. She instilled Christian values in her children. So even when the girl was ready and started going on dates, she knew that there were boundaries as a Christian that she had to keep. And so that also serves as some protection for you, the parent, and also for the child. Good tips right there.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Kuku.
Hi.
Are your children teenagers too, or they have gone past
my
the
last
teenage?
one is a teen. My
Okay.
last one is 15.
All right. And the other ones are older.
Yeah.
Great. So you have been through it all.
Yeah,
Are
my
they-
granddad.
Oh wow! Okay, so we won't
We'll be
go that
teaching
far.
your granny.
We will talk about the 15-year-old, and then maybe how the others got into the teen age and you handled, that age.
It's not easy, especially when I wasn't living with them from the beginning.
Oh, wow.
They lived with their mom back in Takoradi, and I lived in Accra.
I see.
By the point I moved them to live with them because
Or you moved in.
I moved them.
Okay.
I brought the children to join me
Great.
because my daddy and I were very close, so I wanted to be close to my children too.
As well.
So I brought them over so that they stayed with me, and I do anything. I cook, I do everything.
Wow.
Nobody ever does those things for me.
Interesting.
So when they came, the big ones were quite of age, and I had to manage. You see, for me, how I did it was simply it's like screws. I had them tightened, and then I was loosening them gradually. Because I'm a teacher all my life. And I know there are times when students start doing the hanky-panky, and then you have to be careful how you do it if you push them. The fact of the matter is that the Akans have a proverb that se wo ba bone da usu ni mbayen.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've not produced a bad child, you think you're always a
Literally.
good parent.
Yeah.
Some of them can be actually out of control.
Oh.
And not because their parents aren't good, not because they are not instilling those things in them, but some of them are just too difficult. I taught my children at the JHS level. I moved from the university to teach my children because I was interested in that. So I was actually teaching them at the JHS level in their school.
see.
Yeah. And there was a boy completely out of control. Even at JHS, he was doing drugs.
Wow.
Yeah. So you had to make sure that you talk to because that boy, I was actually afraid of him. No, physically, I mean, anybody who does drugs,
Yeah.
they have kind of bravado. They can do anything. So I had to talk to my son especially, I have a boy and 3 girls. So I had to talk to my son especially and tell him that, look, keep your distance from this guy because of A, B, C, D. There are times you make your own choices. At that time, I won't be there. But for now, please. He wasn't his friend anyway, but I just wanted him to stay away. And then when it came to those things,
But was it such that, I'm interested in this child, was it such that nobody could talk to him at all? Were his parents ever invited into this?
yeah, I spoke to his father. His
Because at
father was a
JHS, we're
former
looking at
IGP.
13, right? 11, 13, thereabout.
I think he was bigger than that.
Oh, he was.
Yes, you know, some of those problem children are moved from one school to the other.
Other.
And his father was a former IGP, the whole Inspector General. And I think maybe they might have pushed him a bit too hard because I'm sure he might have been slapped around quite often to the point where he's developed that kind of resistance.
Tends to it.
Yes, and so I spoke with his dad when he was alive at that time about him, and he gave me a whole lot of issues
About him.
how they've tried over the years. I don't know where they went wrong. Sometimes I'm afraid to even blame parents, though as a parent I know that sometimes we take
It's
part
our
in the blame.
fault.
Yeah, it's not easy. And so when this man told me, the man was virtually crying.
Oh.
And a year after that boy finished school, I met him somewhere at a club at East Legon, smoking, and his company told you where he was. When I saw him, I tried to ignore him. Because for anybody you tried bringing up, and when you were at a point hard on, when they're off your authority, they can be very rebellious. So I just kept a distance. So
You have an idea how he's turned out now?
I don't have an idea. The last time I asked some of my colleague teachers at that point, nobody seemed to know where he is.
Oh.
Yes, I pray that he gets well because
Exactly.
when I was at Aquinas, St.
I was
Thomas
going to say we
Aquinas,
pray it is well with him.
yeah, there was a boy. I mean, he could pass through the aisle and people's calculators got missing.
Wow.
He would do anything to steal. And look, he did so many bad things. One day I said something maybe I regret now. I told him, look, if you don't stop what you're doing and you keep it on like this, one day they'll pick your body from a gutter. And then whilst I was still at Aquinas, I was studying for a master's degree. So after that, I went to the university to teach. And I was at Legon. One day, Legon Hall had their hall week. I went there, and the students saw me. They came, they mobbed me, my old students. But I was hard. I could punch some of the students. Yeah, I must confess.
Wow.
And my dear, if you teach in a boys' school, if you don't take care, you lose your life first. They threaten to rape teachers and this.
One day we will have that kind of conversation.
Bring me on. I tell you. And the boy said, one boy said, "Sir, your mouth is not good." I'm just quoting him. Your mouth is not good.
Transliteration.
Yeah. Direct translation. I said, why? And he mentioned the boy's name. I said, what happened to him? So I said, he's dead. And I said, what happened to him? And he said, sir, his body was found in a gutter.
Oh my God.
Joint. I mean, he had gangs from Nima who come just wait behind the gate, the wall at
For
Aquinas. And then he pass on the things he steal to them.
Them to see.
So he joined them after school.
And that was it.
He was dead in about 2 years.
I see.
It's
So how let's get back into
Yeah.
how you introduced your children into relationship. Looking at all the things you had seen. Did you have daughters?
I have three
Three
daughters.
daughters.
I see. 3 girls.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at, I mean, you've been in boys' school, their lifestyle and all that, but obviously you knew there were some very good and responsible ones as well. How did you relax your daughters into relationships?
It was
And at
hard
what
because
age?
I failed in the first one completely. Because I wasn't married to her mom. She had to stay with my big sister at a point, and then my big sister passed. And when my big sister passed, she had to stay with my little sister who worked at a hotel and could come home as late as 11. One day I went to her room and found a boy with her,
At what age?
like 16. And 17, she was pregnant.
Okay.
So
This is so practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
So I was, look, I cried. I spoke with her and I cried because I told her, you have taken so much out of me emotionally. I'm very emotional. I pour my emotions into poetry. I lost my mom. My mom is at the mortuary now. I've written about 30 poems about her.
I'd love to read your poems.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I'll give you one or two before I leave.
Yeah.
And then I was worried that this is my first girl. I carried her
influence
around my
and,
neck. When she was born, I named after my mom. I was on top of the world.
Oh.
Yeah, I felt good. Though I couldn't tell my mom that I had impregnated somebody, I could tell my dad. So my dad and I were close. I went to my father, and I was 26.
Oh, but
You were
26.
grown.
And I was teaching.
Yeah, you had a job.
Yeah,
But you see, I knew how my mom would react.
Exactly.
that
So I
you
went
were
to
not
my dad and
prepared,
told
yeah.
him that this is what has happened. And he went into the room and had a conversation with my mom. I heard my mom say, "So what have you told the boy?" He said, "He's no longer a boy." So
Yeah.
there's a little banter between them. So that girl still means a lot to me. She's my first seed, and I cherish her. Now, after 4 children, she had a set of twins.
The
last
first one?
No, the last one. They're about 6 years old. She comes to me, talks to me, cries, and I had to comfort her. Do I end up crying with her?
So what? Let me just be curious a bit.
Yeah.
After the first one, after she was pregnant with the first child, what did you do? How did you support her?
I virtually did not support.
You didn't.
I still can't even recognize the boy, though he's from my hometown. So she went to my hometown with my mom and got pregnant there.
Again, for the second time.
No, that's the first
That's the
one.
first one.
Oh.
And it was difficult for me.
Why didn't you support her? Is it because you were disappointed?
I was disappointed.
Because
I
I
was
am
angry.
also this is like, I'm just looking at the conversation we had last week.
Yeah.
And this is so practical.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the fact that, and you admitted that you didn't do so well with her because you weren't married to her mother. You also had her out of wedlock, right?
Yeah.
And then she grew up with your sister. Your sister had passed. She went on to live with your younger sister. You weren't there. And then she made this mistake. So why were you so disappointed in her?
I was, because we were almost always in touch. No, I was talking to her. There were times, there was a day I sat down and said, "My dear, look, your father teaches at the university. Hold on. When you enter university, you know this thing about Ghana, you get pregnant and it's like you can't be in school again, which is something I'm so against, because it's not a crime.
Yeah, but I mean, you failed at it.
Yeah, no, but yes, I failed.
Exactly.
No, I've admitted that. The point is that I had been talking to her so often. At a point I said, "Look, my dear, just warm yourself up into the university."
But you were supporting her. You were
Yes, I
paying her
was.
fees. I mean, she wasn't financially
Look,
handicapped.
I'm a
You were
teacher.
there.
Your fees, I have never paid part fees, even if it means me borrowing. Never. That's my priority.
Koko, I'll come back to you. Nicolina, this is the exact question I asked last week. You've
do you
done
do?
everything
Yeah.
there is to do.
Yeah.
Everything. And then the child still fails you.
Yes.
Like he's saying.
Yeah.
Very emotional. I'll come back to you for us to finish that story. You know, very emotional and everything. But then the child, but we established that regardless. Have you forgiven her though?
Yes, I have.
And
She comes to me confessing, telling me all kinds of things, and we hug, we cry together.
how old is she now?
30.
She's 30
Yeah.
with 4 children.
Yeah,
Wow. Is she properly married now?
she is.
She's the same person?
No.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hi. This is Home Affairs. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM and we are also on Joy Prime Television. We have been talking about schools, studies, sex, and beyond. Today we are dealing with the beyond.
The beyond.
Let me come to Nicolina, you're here. Let me go to Safam on Zoom. Safam,
Yes, hello.
you've been writing notes. Please read out the things you have been writing.
How did you know?
I'm looking at you. What have you written down? You share with us first.
Yes, so when Olivia was making her submission, I had to jot down the parental styles she mentioned. And I think I have learned through that stages. And just to know that with the parental skills, you don't limit yourself to one style of parenting. It is more like a transformational parenting where, per the situations happening, you apply any of them at a point in time. And as the children grow up, and then another point I also picked up from Kwekutu was the he also mentioned something. So as the screw, loosening the screws as they grow.
Yeah.
So you have rules, but then as they grow, you loosen the screws, bits and pieces, just to trust them. And can I go on and make my so with everything we are talking about, dating with the definition comes with something sexual or romantic or intimate in nature. So from this part of our world, people will be wondering, why are we even discussing dating for teens and teenagers? Is it necessary? Are we not encouraging them to be sexually promiscuous or something like that? But far from it. So dating comes in different, you can have different kinds of dating. You can have casual dating, you can have blind dates, you can have group or social dating. So for this context, what we are interested in as parents is about casual dating, which happens a lot in our homes. And when you mention the age, the appropriate age, for dating age, it is different for the genders. For the girls, it starts from the ages sometimes 11, 12 to 13. Yes. And for the boys, it starts from 13, 14, and 15. And it's not even a fixed...
Hold on. Safam, hold on. Casual dating or whatever.
Yeah.
What will an 11-year-old be casual dating for? What will they be talking about?
So let me finish.
Like best friends.
So, and
She's
even
my
with
best friend.
the
That's how
ages,
they
it's
started.
different from one child to the other because they all have developmental milestones, different ones. You remember that I think the first week we mentioned something where at the teens, they take risky decisions, they make things because that is where the other part of their brain is developing. And that is where their secondary sex characteristics are also coming up. So they get confused, they compare themselves with others and they are wondering. So when I talk about casual dating, for example, they want to hang out with their friends, go to the mall, for movies, go to the public library, learn together, birthday parties. They want to. I have a practical example. I was here when
these, but 11.
Oh, but it's a reality at them.
yes,
Even
it's happening.
10 years.
It's,
Allow you to go to the mall and go and watch movies in.
That is where your guidance comes in.
Oh, Nicolina Jai.
It's a reality.
Ayaka.
If we don't face it, let her finish. Because Adam, if we don't...
Okay. So what happens is that it will interest you that social workers, welfare, psychologists are so interested in teen dating, because teen dating serves as a foundation or the core
For marriage.
for a child's developmental stages.
Exactly.
Where it is where the virtues or the values of that child is formed.
Exactly.
So issues with self-respect, self-esteem,
Yeah.
commitment,
That's where it comes
and all these things are pruned or nurtured when it comes to dating. And teen dating also serves as the platform for what? A healthy adult relationships.
Yeah.
So if a child is in dating or a teen is dating and they are not comfortable with whoever they are dating, or there's a violent behavior and that child cannot stand up for him or herself and move out and continue with that, trust me, that child would exhibit the same kind of relationship or the same model
marriage.
when they grow up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am not saying this.
Yeah.
Research, it has proven it. My daughter is getting to what, 14. She never told me that she was interested in somebody in her class. Because yes, that is why I was noting down this authoritarian and the parenting skills. Trust me, you know the way I speak, and I am very
To the core.
firm on certain things. But then as they grow, I realize that, hey, if I continue with that, I will lose them for not telling me certain things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I need to slow down. I need to loosen the ties a bit. She wrote in her diary, and I chanced upon it, that she was interested in somebody in her class. That whatever, when she sees him and blah, 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 me say, hey, me woo.
That's very tough, eh?
I took her to school one day. So whilst we are going to school, I said, do you mind? I would want to meet the person that you are having that issue with. And you know what? When I met the guy, the resemblance was impeccable. The boy looks exactly like my daughter's,
So
my husband.
sometimes, yes.
Okay.
The lips,
Exactly.
everything. So you could tell where that thing was coming from.
Exactly. Exactly.
You could tell. So I met her. Oh, hi. Are you this? Okay. I am so and so. Lakeisha's mother. Then she said, I know you. And they started laughing because I do have programs and activities with them. Then I said, okay, I understand. But what was coming up, or what she was expecting the boy to feel towards her, was not coming through. So she was a bit disappointed. And she wrote in her diary that I don't know whether there's something wrong about me or whatever. So I need to sit her down and say, hey, you can like people. But the fact that you don't get
like
that
you.
person liking you back has got nothing to do with you not being sufficient or you not being more beautiful or kind or pleasant enough.
Enough, yeah.
And she understood. How many months now? I asked her and said, oh, mommy, I've gone. I don't like that person anymore. And then I said, okay. Then I was there when I got a call from one of the parents telling me that, oh, the daughter celebrated her birthday, but because of the examination week, they were not able to have a birthday party. That is for my second daughter. So she would like to invite my second daughter to the house for them to have lunch together and few friends. However, she is interested in inviting my first daughter over. So I paused. Then I'm like, but this is for the 11-year-olds. Then she giggled. Then later she said, okay, I need to tell you this. My son is in grade 9. I think grade 9 is GHS 3, right? They're about to write exams. And I noticed that he has been talking to your daughter of late. So, and he has spoken a lot, said a lot about my daughter. And she would like my daughter to come to the house just for her. Then I said, okay, which is good. So I called them and I said, okay, you have a birthday lunch date. But funny enough, Lakeisha has also been invited. Then I proved further, and they started laughing, meaning I was in the dark.
Exactly.
So she opened up and said one of the days the boy came close to her and said, I like you. And since then they've started talking. When they get to school, you ask, how are you, and other things. And I said, okay. But I hope you guys have not been. Then he says, no, mommy. I said, okay, there's nothing wrong with somebody liking you. Do you talk? What do you do after school hours and you are still on campus? Where do you hang around? He says, we are at the canteen. The canteen is an open shed at that area. Then I said, okay, and all those things. So I sent them to the house myself. Then I said, I am going to go with you because I also need to see the boy myself. Then I said, I hope there are no funny businesses there. And when we were going, I had a flat tire or something on the way. So another parent picked them up. So when I went there, I'm sure they spoke. So when I went there, they were all started laughing. So I met the boy. So, oh, it is you. Then she says, yes, ma'am. Then I said, okay, I've heard a lot about you, but I hope you are behaving, how is studies and other things. Do you know, since then, anytime I drop my daughter off at school, this boy will come to me, come to the car and greet me. This is not about us. So, but I expressed, gentlemen, I hope you know the rules. There are boundaries you're not supposed to cross.
Children,
No, you can stop them.
So smart.
You see, she is not 15. She is yet to be 14. But when you see her, she has developed, her secondary sexual figures have developed so well. She has developed, she's assertive, she's open-minded and other things. So you could see that her stage or something like that has impacted on my second daughter. So we have open conversations and other things. Why am I saying this? These things are necessary for you to accept that it would happen. You said whether you like it or not. Some people's own would start late. Others would come earlier than you least expected. So as a parent, that is where the transformational parenting, and I'm taking the concept from management, where transformational manager or a leader knows what is happening and quickly moves in to put certain things in place. That is where a transformational parenting skills set in. So don't let me go too much into it. But these things are really, really important and they are happening. And you need to be there to support your child so that he or she will not commit certain mistakes. Because with these come advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage is that when they are dating a violent person, they end up being violated sexually, character-wise, attitude. It can affect their self-esteem. It will make them make all kinds of sexual decisions and be promiscuous around without you knowing. So it is important that we set the pace right and know that dating starts on the right footing so that our kids will be saved instead of having to do house cleaning and following them around.
Thank you very much, Sefam. I dare say that this has been one of the best conversations I have had on Home Affairs so far in all the 8 to 9 years. It's been the best ever. Like the insights are just, they're so revealing. And maybe for me, because I am getting there. You are not getting there. Whether I like it or not,
you will be there.
You are there. You are consoling yourself.
Because you are there. All of a sudden, right? You see the kind of clothes that people want to wear, and you want to pass comments and the struggle. They're looking at themselves a bit more in the mirror, a bit more concerned about the hair, a bit more. I am like, we're about going to school, and the concerns apart from the school and the books and everything, the other concerns are also very important. And you realize that gradually we're becoming very self-aware, and we're just growing. So
what's it?
we're taking a short break. We will be right back to hear from Nicolina before we wrap up.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
It's like what? Parenting 101. You don't get to read this in any book. We're sharing experiences, very practical experiences, and I'm very excited about it. I hope you listening out there, you are making notes as well. Let me just do a few birthday shouts before I totally forget. Said Kwame Boateng sends in a couple of them. Oh, SKB, I'm looking for your message. Oh, okay. So before then, there is another one. Okay, I will get into it. But Nicolina, let me come to you. We haven't heard from you today. How old are your teenagers?
Okay, so I have 16 and I have 18.
Oh, you two have crossed the line.
I mean it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What more do you have to add to what we've been talking
honestly,
so
honestly.
far.
So the diary issue, one day I chanced on why I like him. Yeah, and it spoke volumes. I got to know a few things, so we talked. And like the values I've been saying, my LOC, listen, observe, communicate. Once you're able to do that, you're able to unravel things quickly. And as you get feedback from your conversation, it helps get into. My is a bit tricky because the two talk more, and I get to know from one person, you know. And I'm
It's a boy and a girl.
It's a boy and a girl. So they are talking, and I get to know about somebody's own from somebody else.
Yeah.
That is my situation, and because of that, I'm able to help. Now, as a parent, if you don't listen, you don't observe, and you don't communicate, you won't find out. So how did I chance on this diary? Why I like him? And at the age of 15, I found that. And it spoke volumes to me. I realized there was a gap that needed to be filled. And so I started working on it and talking. But the good thing is that at that point, we're crossing over to go into secondary school. So that helped the concentration. So we're able to quickly move to concentrate on getting the exams over and getting over it and getting into secondary school. And that was perfect. Now, but the other, my gentleman, all of a sudden I'm realized that, hey, okay, so I'm chatting and I get up and I go and talk and then I observe it and then something happens strangely. Whilst we were driving, Joy was playing very nice songs. And then I could see recording going, and then he will giggle. Apparently, he was sharing the music that was being played to friends. So a conversation started. Oh, okay. So this. So when am I getting to? In fact, about 3 months ago when they were home, you know, this tracking thing, I happened to talk to somebody, very lovely lady. And I said, wow. But you know what? We have to have a number so that's the casual dating, so that we can observe and then transition into a good relationship that if you want to narrow down at the university, you can narrow down. LOC, listen, observe, communicate. Adam, it is a reality. At age 8, they come and tell you that there's this girl I like in school. There's this boy I like in school. What will you do about it? It is a reality. We should not lose the fact that, you know, yesterday somebody said, oh, and parents are not there. I'm not talking about quantity of time. I'm talking about quality of time. So from Osu to my house in Hacho, the kind of conversation we've had yesterday night with my boy, you have no idea. And the things I have heard, even the sister, you understand? So it helps you know how to handle them, their passions, their emotions. What makes one emotionally stable is different. Let's get to know this. Our children are not the same. Yeah. And like she said, Stefan said, they are liking for the opposite sex will come at different stages and different times. If you don't observe, you will miss it. Now, even translates into how they handle themselves at home. Their siblings. You realize that if we make a mistake there, it goes into some relationship. My daughter cannot tolerate certain things. So I see in the relationship with her brother, and then I come in. And so I've been able to work on her. And it's because of that gap I saw in the diary that made me work on her. And she's grown into it. Look, I'm not ashamed to say this, that she got so annoyed and upset about somebody growing lightning for her that she raised the person up in annoyance. Yes. And you see, because of that, it helped me know who she is.
Her temperament.
Her temperament. We lose sight of all these things. And then when they are going into it, have you watched Greenleaf before?
No.
Watch Greenleaf on Netflix. It's a whole thing series, and it will teach you a lot. And when I noticed that they were watching it, I took interest. I started watching with them, and the lessons. When you watch movies with your children and they get to a point where they are kissing, please don't change the channel. Don't. Yesterday I heard a story. when the mother changed the channel, say, mommy, why are you doing it? You will see that they will be watching, and before you realize they're touching some parts. The boy was telling the mother this, and she got chills because that was a 14-year-old boy. That is the point you start doing some education. That is the point you start saying, okay, so this is it, but this is the way to go. And then the values you instill in them. Let me tell you, you may think they are not hearing, but if you really did a thorough work, and then you transit with them, Adam, transit with your children. Get to know what time is it. Look, sometimes they didn't know I had the Telegram. And so things, the WhatsApp, you know WhatsApp, you could go off WhatsApp and you're still chatting. Look at where I am. Look at the, and then so I called somebody on Telegram, say, mommy, are you here too?
You have become a monitoring spirit.
No, but I told them, I think I saw you online. You were supposed to be sleeping. You understand? Let them know that it's not wrong. Certain things are not wrong to be attracted to the opposite sex, but then they need to be in check. Know what to do at what time. You don't allow me, my daughter, I told her, what aketesia, yakataso, and I. So certain parts are for you. Your body is for you. The boy, your body is for you. There's some places nobody touch. Somebody can hold your hand, but not your breast, not your private part. That is for you. And every time, and it's for a reserve for special things at certain stage in your life. Let them know the truth, because if you hide, they will find out. And if they find out, you will be getting to know too late, and you wouldn't like it. Adam, let's transit with our children and let us give them the guidelines. Listen to them, observe them, communicate. And I said communication is a two-way affair. So as you communicate with them, you get a feedback. Yesterday, I got to know those 3 young ladies, and I'm going to talk to them. So it's beautiful.
Great.
But then we transit gradually, and then when we get to where we have to get to, for me, I say, get to the university before we narrow to a serious relationship. And that is it.
Thank you very much. So the transition is very important. You have to observe, and then you grow with them. That's what she means by, transiting with them, grow with them. As they start changing from, one phase of their growth to the other. Once you're there, you will observe it. You said, well, you should listen, you should observe, and then you communicate. And that's how you do the transition effectively. Good morning, Adam, and thank God for your life. It's a great conversation. Please ask your guest for me, what is the difference between a boyfriend and a girlfriend and a male or a female friend? Ajaman Joseph, Community 9, Tema. Okay, let's take a few other messages. Adam, my son turns 14 tomorrow, and my 11-year-old daughter has started menstruating, and I am scared. Oh, no, don't be scared. That one, I have a lot of experience to share with you. I'll pick your number and we'll have a conversation. This one's you. This life has taught me parenting has no formula.
Yeah.
The most important is you figure out what works for your family and stick to it. What will work in one's home might backfire in another's. That's very true. The home, school, society, friends, religion, and personal experience all come together to shape a child. My parents didn't beat around the bush. They always made us understand our generation and way of doing things is different, so we shouldn't bring any trouble and pregnancy home. They made us understand the merits and demerits of every action. Also, they gave room for mistakes, and that worked just fine. Know your home and how you go about it, and don't always follow the crowd. It might backfire. The youth is sexually active now, whether we like it or not. What is so bad about sex education? What is so bad about sex education? To tell the youth to abstain, but if they can't, they should protect themselves to prevent STDs and unwanted pregnancies. That's from Nana Kwesi. We can take about 2 more messages. And okay, so I thought this was going to be the last conversation, but we'll do one last one. See, Kweku didn't finish sharing his story, so Kweku will come again next week. Kweku, we're meeting next week. Now, the other thing we want to find out is, see, you're doing all the guidance, the LOC, everything Sefam talked about and everything. But what if they make mistakes? What if, I had a friend when I was doing my master's, she said that she told her daughters that, you can do some of these things, right? But when you start kissing, you begin to have feelings that kissing alone cannot quench.
Yeah.
And then you may be craving for other things. So once we start chatting, we're sending music that's talking about love and blah 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 and all that. They bring out some other emotions in you.
Exactly.
How do we handle those ones?
Yeah, very
and
important.
then when do we leave them? You transit from casual dating and then you know that, oh, this is it now, and you are into it. We'll end it there. And then, Kweku, I'd like you to tell us next week. Okay, so after that big mistake that impacted your daughter's life, how have you helped her through it? Now she's 30, she's married, she has a kid. What lessons, from your point of view, is she, carrying with her to also bring her children up? So we'll conclude on that next week. We will definitely finish next
That'll
week.
be fine.
My name is Adam Knight-Tay. I have been here with Ariel, the wellness coach, Nicolina, and then Kweku joined us today. Safam has been on Zoom.
Happy birthday
Next
to
week,
somebody for me.
who's the person? We
Franklin
have
Bena.
to. Okay, Franklin, happy birthday to you. We're actually off now. So see you next week, Saturday, for the final conversation on schools, studies, sex, and beyond. Enjoy the weekend.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.